Detailed overview of Biogeochemical Cycle. Introduction. Biogeochemical cycle describes the movement of essential elements and compounds such as carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, water and sulfur through earth living, biotic and non-living abiotic compounds, including the atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere and biosphere. These cycles are critical for sustaining life, regulating climate, and maintaining ecosystem balance. Human activities such as industrialization and deforestation have disrupted this cycle, leading to environmental challenges like climate change and nutrient pollution. This document provides the detailed exploration of major biogeochemical cycle, their processes, human impacts, and ecological significance. Overview of biogeochemical cycles. Biogeochemical cycles involves the transfer of elements through physical and chemical biological process across earth reservoirs, atmosphere, soil, water, organisms. Key characteristics include reservoir, storage pools where elements resides such as carbon in fossil fuels or nitrogen in the atmosphere. Fluxes, processes that moves elements between reservoirs like photosynthesis or erosion. Biotic and abiotic interactions, microorganisms, plants, animals, and geological processes derive cycling. The major cycles carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, water, and sulfur interconnected with disruption in the affecting others. Major biogeochemical cycle, carbon cycle. The carbon cycle regulates Earth climate by cycling carbon through the atmosphere, ocean, soil, and organisms. Processes: photosynthesis. Plants absorb the atmosphere carbon dioxide to produce glucose. Respiration. Organisms release carbon dioxide by breaking down glucose for energy. Decomposition. Microbes break down dead organic matter, releasing carbon dioxide or methane. Ocean exchange. Oceans absorb carbon dioxide, forming absorbing acid. Bicarbonate. Carbonic acid. Marine organisms form calcium carbonate shells. Geological storage. Carbon is stored in fossil fuels and limestone over billions of years. Volcanic eruptions release carbon dioxide. Reservoirs. Atmosphere 750 GTC as carbon dioxide. Ocean 38,000 GTC. Soil 2030 GTC. Fossil fuel 4,000 GTC. Human impact. Burning fossil fuels release 10 GTC annually, increasing atmospheric carbon dioxide by 50% since 1750 420 ppm in 2023. Driving global warming, deforestation, reduce carbon sinks. Nitrogen cycle. Nitrogen cycle makes nitrogen essential for proteins and DNA available to organisms, despite 78% of the atmosphere being nitrogen gas. Processes: nitrogen fixation. Bacteria, rhizobium and lightning converts nitrogen to ammonia or nitrates. Assimilation. Plants absorb nitrates, animals consume plants. Aminification. Decomposers convert organic nitrogen to ammonia. Nitrification, bacteria nitrosomonas convert ammonia to nitrates. Denitrification, bacteria pseudomonas convert nitrates back to nitrogen, releasing it to the atmosphere. Reservoirs: atmosphere 3.8 E10 TGN is soil, 100 TGN biomass, 3.5 TGN. Human impact: synthetic fertilizer 120 TGN per year and fossil fuel combustion increase reactive nitrogen causing eutrophication and air pollution. Phosphorus cycle: the phosphorus cycle, primarily terrestrial, supplies phosphorus for DNA, ATP and bones with no significant atmospheric components. Process: weathering, rocks release phosphate, PO3 phosphate into soil and water. Uptake: plant absorbed phosphate, animals consume plants. Decomposition: organic phosphorus returns to soil via decay. Sedimentation: phosphorus forms insoluble compounds sinking to ocean sediments or forming rocks over millennia. Reservoirs: rocks, soil, ocean. Human impacts: phosphate mining and fertilizer use accelerate runoff, causing algal blooms and dead zones. Water cycle: the water hydrologic cycle distributes water across Earth's surface and atmosphere, supporting life and regulating climate processes. Evaporation: water from oceans and lands becomes vapor. Transpiration: plants release water vapor. Condensation: vapor forms clouds. Precipitation: water returns as rain, snow or hail. Runoff or infiltration: water flows to river, lakes and groundwaters. Reservoirs: oceans 97% of earth waters, glaciers 2%, freshwater 1%, mostly groundwater. Human impact: reforestation and urbanization reduce infiltration, increasing runoff and flooding. Climate change alters precipitation, causing droughts and storms. Irrigation consume 70% of freshwater. Sulfur cycle: the sulfur cycle moves sulfur, vital for proteins, through earth system, influencing climate and ecosystem. Processes: weathering: sulfate is released from rocks. Volcanic emissions: sulfur dioxide enters the atmosphere. Biological uptake: plants and microbes assimilate sulfur. Animals consume plants. Decomposition: organic sulfur returns to soil or water. Atmospheric reactions: sulfur dioxide forms sulfate aerosols, affecting climate. Reservoir: oceans, rocks, atmosphere. Human impacts: fossil fuels combustion release 80 TGS per year as sulfur dioxide, causing acid rain, pH less than 6.7 and respiratory use. Emission controls have reduced acid rain in some regions. Human impact on biogeochemical cycle: human activities have accelerated and altered biogeochemical cycle with significant environmental consequence. Carbon cycle: fossil fuel emissions and deforestation have increased atmospheric carbon dioxide, contributing to 1.2 degrees Celsius temperature rise since 1818, driving climate change. Nitrogen and phosphorus cycle: fertilizer overuse causes nutrient pollution, leading to eutrophication in 80% of global water bodies, creating hypoxia zones, water cycles, over extraction and land use changes disrupt groundwater research, with 20% of aquifers at risk of depletions. Sulfur cycle, industrial sulfur dioxide emissions contribute to acid rain, damaging 30% of global forest in the 20th century, though mitigation has reduced impacts. Ecological and societal significance. Biogeochemical cycles are uh, foundational to life and ecosystem service. Nutrient availability. Cycles ensures elements like nitrogen and phosphorus are accessible for food production, supporting 8 billion people. Climate regulation. The carbon and sulfur cycle modulate earth temperature through carbon dioxide sequestration and aerosol formation. Water supply. The water cycle sustains agriculture, industry, and human consumption, with 70% of fresh water used for irrigation. Biodiversity. Balanced cycle support ecosystem disruptions. Sweden 25% of species with extension by 2050. Mitigation and management strategies. To mitigate human impacts on biogeochemical cycle, the following strategies are recommended. Reduce GHG emissions, transition to renewables, and reforestation to stabilize the carbon cycle, aiming for net zero emissions by 2050. Sustainable agriculture, precision farming, and organic fertilizer can reduce nitrogen and phosphorus runoff by 30%. Water conservation, efficient irrigation and watershed protections reserves the water cycle. Pollution controls, scrubbers and cleaners, fuels reduce sulfur emissions, mitigating acid rains. Education and policy, global agreements like the Paris Agreements and national policies promote sustainable practices to protect cycles. Conclusion. Biogeochemical cycles are essential for life, climate stability, and ecosystem health. Human activities have disrupted these cycles, leading to climate change, nutrient pollution, and resource depletion. Restoring balance requires urgent action through sustainable practices, policy enforcement, and global cooperation. By prioritizing mitigation and conservation, humanity can safeguard this cycle for future generations.